Good evening and welcome to the Charlton Board of Selectmen's meeting for Tuesday, September 2nd, 2014. I'll ask that we begin with the pledge to the flag. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Our agenda for this evening will consist of review of the minutes of the Selectmen's special meeting of April 8th, 2014, minutes of the special roundtable meeting of April 14th, and minutes of the Selectmen's regular meeting of August 5th. That will be followed by community relations, announcements, and open forum. We have, under appointments and resignations, we do have one resignation from the Activities Council, and we have to address the dismantlement of the Prindle Lake Dam Committee. We have a few appointments. We have a 6:40 appointment to discuss Everbridge, a Citizens Alert flyer. We have a 6:45 appointment with the Community Center at Fort Dresser Hill, and updated from the Activities Council. We have a 7 o'clock appointment with Dresser Hills Conservation and Management Permit with Todd Gerard. And at 7:30, request to work a secondary job. We have 5 items under new business. Number 1 is the Town of Charlton Cafeteria Plan. Number 2 would be the Sewer Rate Relief Fund. Number 3 would be the CMMPO Request for Selectman Representative. Number 4 would be to set the trick-or-treating date and time. Yes, we are past Labor Day. It is that time. And number 5 is the Fiscal 15 Special Town Meeting with a proposed date of October 21st of this year. And we will go over the calendar approval and open the warrant. Under old business, we have one item, which is discuss our goals and objectives. And we have one, and then we'll go on to any committee reports or policy reviews that we have. And that will be followed by the town administrator's report and any business to come before the board that was unknown at the time of posting. And just to let folks know now, our next regular selectmen's meeting will be September 16th. And we will be having an all boards, committees, commissions, and department meetings on September 23rd at 6:30 p.m. downstairs in the senior center. So I would entertain the wishes of the board with regards to the minutes of the special meeting of April 8th.
Mr. Chair,
Mr. Zafirovich?
I move that we accept the April 8th special meeting minutes.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
I'll second them, even though Cindy and I were not here. We weren't
Thank you.
members.
Do you have any discussion on the motion? None appearing. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions?
Aye.
Chair votes aye. We have 2 ayes and 2 abstentions. Motion carries. Thank you. And with regards to the minutes of the special roundtable meeting of April 14th,
Mr. Chair,
Mr. Zafirovich?
I move that we accept the April 14th special roundtable meeting minutes.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Is there discussion? None appearing. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions?
Aye.
Chair votes aye. Motion carries. 2 ayes, 2 abstentions. Thank you. And lastly, with regards to the minutes of the Selectmen's regular meeting of August 5th, 2014.
Mr. Chair,
Mr. Zafirovich?
motion to approve the August 5th regular meeting minutes.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Is there discussion? None appearing. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Chair votes aye. Motion carries unanimously. Thank you. We do have a few announcements. The first is with regards to the senior tax work-off program. So the qualifications are you must be a full-time year-round resident, homeowner, and taxpayer who is at least 60 years old in the town of Charlton, who can receive on a home that he or she owns and occupies a senior citizen property tax work-off credit. Credit for property taxes will be paid at a rate equal to Massachusetts minimum wage, which is $8 per hour, not to exceed $500 in any fiscal year. Applicants who exceed income restrictions will not be eligible for this program. The applicants who exceed asset restrictions will not be just going through this. Applicants who exceed income or asset restrictions will not be eligible for this program. A volunteer may work for an applicant if approved by the administrators of the program. The deadline to apply is November 30th, 2014, and the program starts January 1st of 2015. Please contact Deborah Kieslick, Outreach Coordinator at the Charlton Council on Aging in the Senior Center at 508-248-2231 or by email at deborah.kieslik, Kiesluк, @townofcharlton.net. And if you didn't get all of that, if anyone has any questions, you can certainly call the Selectman's office or call the Senior Center Council on Aging, and anyone would be glad to help you. Free to all Charlton residents, Town of Charlton Residential Convenience Drop-Off. The drop-off is located at 165 Barefoot Road in Southbridge and is open to all Charlton residents with proof of residency. Hours of operation are every Saturday from 7 a.m. until noon, and you can visit www.townofcharlton.net for more info. And that is a drop-off for trash and recyclables if you don't have someone coming to your house to pick them up. And library hours are changing. The library will reopen on Saturdays starting September 6th. Beginning September 8th, the library will be closed every Monday. Beginning September 12th, the library will be open every Friday. And again, you can contact the Selectman's office or the library if there are questions on that. And our state primary election will be held on Tuesday, September 9th, 2014 at the Heritage School from 7 a.m. until 8 p.m. So please do come out and vote. The town collector will be performing a tax taking in September. If any resident has an unpaid real estate bill from fiscal year 2014 or prior, payments must be made no later than Thursday, September 11th, 2014, to avoid advertisement. Please call the collector's office at 508-248-2239 if you have any questions. The Southbridge Landfill Open House is Saturday, September 13th from 10 a.m. until 1 p.m. at 165 Barefoot Road in Southbridge. Free painting and balloons, crafts activities for kids. Recycling trucks will be on site and lunch will be served. Landfill tours will be every 30 minutes. And a news release from Whitewater. The Southbridge Water Department will start its semi-annual hydrant flushing program on Tuesday, September 2nd, 2014 at approximately 7 a.m. and continue daily for approximately 6 to 8 weeks between the hours of 7 a.m. and 3 p.m. Flushing will start in the Westville area and continue easterly through the town. The procedure will include the cleaning of the reservoir intake screens, flushing accumulated sediments from the water mains, and testing the operation of each hydrant. The department requests that during this period, customers check their water before washing clothes. You may also get accumulated sediments in your house, laterals, and experience some discolored water. This will clear after a brief run of water at the tap. Please contact the Southbridge Water Department if you have any questions or comments, and they can be reached at 508-764-3207. And mark your calendars. Our regular Household Hazardous Waste Collection Day will take place on Saturday, September 27th from 9 a.m. until 1 p.m. And again, that is at the Waste Service Facility at 165 Barefoot Road across from the landfill. And the event is open to Southbridge and Charlton residents only. No food or sanitary waste will be accepted, no commercial waste will be accepted, and no latex-based paints will be accepted. And again, if you have any questions, you can call the Selectman's office on that. Again, the Household Hazardous Waste Collection Day, Saturday, September 27th from 9 a.m. until 1 p.m. Do we have any other announcements? I think we might have covered it with all those. Do we have anyone here for open forum? Mr. Desto.
Thank you, Mr. Swenson, members of the board, and Mrs. Craver. I appreciate the opportunity to be here. It occurred to me as I was waiting that Joe was my student at Charlton Middle School all those years ago, and he's probably thinking, man, we're going to be here all night if this speech is going to be anything like the ones he used to give us in the auditorium back in the middle school. But I assure you I'll be brief tonight. First, again, I want to thank you all for letting me have the opportunity to introduce myself. My name is Greg Desto, and I'm the new superintendent of the Dudley Charlton Regional School District. A very, very quick background is that I've been a part of this district for 15 years. I moved to Charlton in 2000 when I got the job at Charlton Middle School. I'm raising my family here, as so many people in this room are, and I'm very excited to say that I have a superintendent job in the one district in the world where I could really call it my life's work. So I'm excited about that. I know that it's been over 10 years since I've really worked with the students and staff and parents in Charlton, and so toward that, I wanted to mention tonight that on September 17th, between the hours of 3:30 and 6:30, I'm going to be holding an open house at Charlton Middle School where I will be in the library for any parent, student who wants to drop in, meet the new superintendent, ask any questions. We'll have some refreshments on hand. I'll also have with me several district administrators and information about the curriculum that we follow, materials that we use, and anything that we think we can anticipate that parents might ask. So looking forward to really meeting some people from Charlton and just hearing from them what their hopes and dreams are for our district. I also add that I do look forward to working with this board. I know as the year goes on, there'll be much more of that as we start getting into the real nitty-gritty of building budgets for next year. So I look forward to that, and again, appreciate the opportunity.
Thank you, Mr. So we have any questions?
No, good luck.
We wish you luck. We look forward to working with you. Mr. Gilrain and the school committee have always been great and professional and a pleasure to work with, and we anticipate, we look forward to having the same with you and your
I
administration.
expect that.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
That wasn't bad, right, Joe?
I've heard worse.
We still have to work budgets with them, so. Do you have anyone else here for open forum? Mr. Zafirovich?
Yes, I'd like to thank Mr. Swenson for doing a great job emceeing Old Home Day again. You did a fantastic job, and once again, high octane rock Charlton, and it was a very good day. Thank you.
It was, thank you. It was a good day. It was, usually you can see the crowds come and go as different things are going on up there, and this crowd was there when I got there about 8:30, and was still there at 4:30 when the parade ended. So it was a good day, and we hope everyone enjoyed it, and the thanks really should go out to the Old Home Day Committee who did all the work on putting it together. I show up and they just stick a microphone in my hand, but they do all the heavy lifting on it. So a lot of work goes into that, both before and after. So it was a good day, and thanks to all those who came out. Do you have anyone else here for open forum? Then we will move on. Under appointments and resignations, we do have a resignation from the Activities Council, Ms. Craver.
Yes, sir. Attached, please find a letter from Judith Butler resigning from the Activities Council. Ms. Butler is a crafter at the center, as well as being and has been appointed to the committee, which is a conflict of interest. I would recommend the board accept her resignation.
I'll entertain the wishes of the board.
Chair,
Mr. McGrath?
I make a motion that we accept Mrs. Butler's resignation from the Activities Council.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? None appearing. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Chair votes aye. Motion is accepted. I would just ask that Ms. Craver would draft a letter from the board thanking Ms. Butler for her time. She's been a big part of this community for many years. We want to make sure we thank her for her service on this.
I will be glad to, and I am quite sure she's going to continue
Oh, I expect we'll see her around.
with the Activities Council. Thank you.
And next, we have the dismantlement of the Prindle Lake Dam Committee. Ms. Craver?
Yes. Let me give you one of these when we
Thank
do
you.
your packet. The letter actually went over the top. So as you know, the Prindle Lake Dam has been completed and under budget. The Prindle Lake Dam Committee was an ad hoc committee formed for the purpose of the Prindle Lake Dam project, and whose terms expire upon completion of the duties assigned. You are asked to disband the committee. Thank you letters have been completed and are in your sign folder. The following are the members that I would like to thank for their efforts and hard work on this project: Rick Swenson, Joe Zafirovich, Mitch Dunn, Serafino DeFranco, Paul Nesso, Arthur Bernault, and Brett Losior. A special thank you to Todd Gerard, our conservation agent, for helping oversee the project.
Then I would entertain a motion from the board.
Chair,
Mr. McGrath?
I'd like to make a motion that we disband the Prindle Lake Dam Committee for all the fine work that they've done. Send them a letter of appreciation.
Thank you. Do you have a second?
Second.
Do you have any discussion on the motion? Mr. Zafirovich?
It was really good to see just all the Prindle Lake residents coming together and really helping out with the project, and just it made the experience just easy. That's why we came under budget. That's why we finished on time, and along with Ms. Craver's guidance, Todd Gerard, and everyone else in the committee, it was a really good job.
I think it was a good committee. I think we had the right company doing the work, and I think Todd did a great job overseeing it, so I would agree with you. It was a project that went very well, which is nice to see. Ms. Craver?
Actually, I believe there is a name missing from that. As Joe started to speak, I think we should also send one to Peter Boyer, who was the selectman's representative before.
Yep,
So we do need to add him.
good call, good catch on that. Okay, we do have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? None appearing, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Chair votes aye, motion carries unanimously, and the Prindle Lake Dam Committee is disbanded.
They'll be so pleased.
And we will move on, we're a couple of minutes behind, but we'll move on. We do have a 6:40 appointment with Carl Ekman regarding the Everbridge. Lieutenant Ekman,
Would you like me to start?
if you would start, please, Ms. Graver.
Attached is a request from Carl Ekman, the Emergency Management Director, who has been working with staff to get the Everbridge Citizen Alert Program up and running. He is seeking permission from the board to put a flyer with the tax bills advising the community to sign up for citizen alerts. Town Collector Lucia Blanchette has stated that Chapter 60, Section 3A of the Mass General Law states that the collector may include stuffers with tax bills as long as the material to be included with the bill is non-political municipal information material and cannot result in an increase in postage. The vending company that stuffs the bills has stated that their cost to stuff the notice in the 6,100 real estate bills is as follows. If the notice is reprinted, 2 cents per piece, which equals $122. If they were to print the notice, it is 5 cents per piece, which equals $319. I would recommend the board approve the request to add the flyer to the 6,100 real estate bills. I would also recommend having the vendor company print the notices and have the cost of $319 taken out of the selectmen's expense. If we were to print these flyers, the cost of toner itself might outweigh the total cost the vendor is charging.
Thank you. Mr. Ekman?
I'll be brief. The Everbridge system is a mass notification system, and it only works if everybody's on board. I mean, right now, we're up and running, but a lot of people haven't signed up for it. What we're trying to do is hit every person in the town of Charlton. They can sign up for how they receive the alerts, if they want to go email, text, phone, whatever they want to do, and they get up to, I think, 12 different ways, and they can do like 35 per household. So if you got 5 or 6 people that are doing it, usually they only do a few ways, but they can choose what they want to hear. They're going to get emergency notifications no matter what, but everything else, like the weather, which is a biggie. Sunday night, the weather thing was going off like crazy, and it was very accurate. And then they can also opt for community events. And right now we're trying to compile lists of different groups that would be well worthwhile having. Now, fire has already started. They have they get notifications to all their firefighters or certain groups of their firefighters. Chuck's already built the database for those. I know they want to do it for the dog licensing so they can do reminders, which they can just send out, and people will be opting for the community event. Dog license would go out there, and it would say, you know, soon, they're in now, and please pick it up by whatever date. And we're looking at other ways we can use this. So we want to make it worthwhile. Now, the city of Worcester, just so you'll know, during Hurricane Sandy, they sent out 78,000 notifications in 17 minutes. So the infrastructure this company has is huge, and it's not on site. What happened with the system we were using was to locate the sheriff's department, and it got whacked during Hurricane Sandy, and it was going to cost $100,000 to replace it. This way, the business owns the infrastructure, and it's in Iron Mountain, West Virginia. It's out in Utah, Nevada, the places where we're not going to have the same problems that they do, weather-wise anyway, or even locally if we have something regarding a water ban or whatever we have to do. At least we can get the messages out, and that's all I'm trying to do is reach every person I can. We are going to continue, putting it out there. Old Home Day, I gave out a bunch of these. And told people how to do it, how to sign up. And if they just go to the Town of Charlton website, well, I might as well plug it right here, and go to the Town of Charlton website, and on the left-hand side, it's called Citizen Alert System. They can click on that, they set up their own login, and then they can choose what they want to hear, and what they want to have delivered, how they want to have it delivered. So that's basically what the system is.
Great, thank you. Ms. Blanchette, you read the law, but you're comfortable?
Oh, yes, I'm fine.
Including doing the stuffers and having them with the bills. Okay. Do you have any comments or questions from the board for either Ms. Blanchette or Mr. Ekman?
Mr. Chair,
Mrs. Zafirovich?
I move that we approve the request to add the Everbridge Citizens Alert flyer to the real estate bills and taking the cost of $319.64 out of the selectmen's expense account.
Thank you. We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Is there discussion on the motion? None appearing, then all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Chair votes aye, motion carries unanimously.
Thank you.
Thank you for your work on it.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to thank Carl for the hard work he's done in reaching, getting this program up and running.
Yeah, I know this has
He's
been
been
an
doing-
ongoing, it's been going on for quite
It's
some time.
taken quite a bit.
so Thank you for your work on that. Next up, we have a 6:45 appointment with the Community Center at 4 Dresser Hill with an update from the Activities Council. Ms. Craver?
Yes, sir. Sandy Bacon, Director of Activities Council, is here to provide the board with the update.
And I'm Barbara Matarosian, I'm the chair of the Activities Council. I'm going to begin tonight. When last we came here, we had some concerns about our future viability, and we did go back and do some strategic planning, and I just wanted to give you an update. In May, we had $200 in our coffers, and now we've increased that up to $11,000 worth of income. We had a grant of $5,000 that is earmarked specifically for building improvement. We've had some other donations as well, and our treasurer can give you the line item information if you wish. We have had some great success with some dramatic performances that were also publicized in the paper because of that review. We had more interest in the programming, and we've added a very successful music lesson component with Christine Costello, who now is giving piano and voice lessons and has sustained a program throughout the summer and has a following at this point. Of course, we've also had some expenses, but as of our last reckoning, we were up over $6,000 in the black. So we do feel that we can continue the programming, continue the work that we've done, that we've gotten through that rough patch. We're continuing to explore 501(c)(3) status, to investigate further grants. And again, I'm not sure how specific you would like to get with what, with the income and so forth has been.
I don't think we need to get too specific here unless any board members have questions, but what I would ask is that if we could get a copy of that submitted to the office to be in the records, be in
Okay.
the minutes for the meeting.
We can do that.
Mrs. Zafirovich?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Just a quick question. The money you said you had in your account, does that include
Hold on
the money
just a
that was
question.
owed before?
I'm sorry, I was.
That's okay. The last meeting you said you owed was it like $7,000 for various bills and expenses. Is that the money you have now include that, or
They've been paid off.
been
Yeah,
paid off? Okay,
everything's paid off.
awesome.
Okay.
Thank you.
And we do have Don Konopacki here this evening, who's run the drama productions, Pasture Prime, and Christine Costello, if you would like to hear from them what their future plans are.
We'd love to, and I think it'd be great for the people at home to hear as well if
Okay.
we could.
And I'll turn it over to them.
And thank you for all your work on it, that's great news.
Yeah, thank you, Sandy.
Thank you for your support too last time.
And while they're getting settled, I just want to say the Board of Selectmen held our goals and objectives meeting over at Fort Dresser Hill a couple of weeks ago, and admittedly, it had been a little while since I had been in the work. The place just looked fantastic. It really looked great, so thank you all for your work on behalf of the facility. Mr. Konopacki, if you want to start?
Yes. Good evening, everyone. We had a very successful summer with many programs going, not just with theater, but also we had some concerts, which also generated some income. To give you an idea, the Pasture Prime Players production, Out of Order, had a total attendance of 229 people, which resulted in $557 going towards the Activities Center. We also started a children's drama workshop, which was very successful, which resulted in $973 going to the Activities Center. Josh Bardier, who was a one-time Pasture Prime player, he's since become a professional actor. He wanted to do his one-man show here in Charlton, the world premiere. So we had rented it out to him for $300. That's $100 per the 3 days that he needed to do it. In the 2 days and 3 performances, he brought in 160 new people Most of the people I had never seen come to the activity center before. So what's happened is through these various programs, and that's just in the drama portion of it, we've seen a lot of new people come through, and there's sort of a synergy that then happens because we force them to go through the craft store, and therefore they get to look through the craft store, and hopefully that helps to build some income for them also. In addition, we did have a couple of concerts going on. The first concert didn't generate too much because we had told them we would like to see money generated, and they had already advertised it as a free concert. And so we kind of passed the hat, and we probably only got $30 from that one. But band Casual Friday did a benefit concert a couple weeks ago. We made $90 from that. And I'm sure if we had a higher octane band show up that might want to donate, I'm sure we could even do more. So we're looking at putting more bands. In addition, the high school students who have various bands had a concert. I think there was something like 9 bands that played. And I don't remember exactly how much it generated because they were taking, they did not rent it from us. We took a percentage. So I want to say it was somewhere in around $85 or so we pulled in from the student bands. And I was talking with them, and so one of the future things we might look at is them having next summer, perhaps every 2 weeks, every other week, or in some sort of fashion such as that, concerts directed towards the youth so that they have a safe place to go over and go to concerts. And that's something that we're also looking towards as we go trying to find out if we can get more. And certainly with Christine's program coming in effect, we could see possibly even more chances for various music programs to go. In addition, Pasture Prime does have another production coming up. It will open on the 31st of October. It's Bad Seed. After I'm out of this meeting, I'm going to do the callbacks. So hopefully we'll get a cast tonight and start rehearsing for that. Christine and I have talked about maybe she might want to do a musical next year. So we're looking at this kind of synergy where we can get together and really make the place grow.
That's terrific. And as far as the high octane component goes,
Higher octane.
higher octane. Three of the band members are Charlton residents, and the three of us have always been very willing to give our time, as we did for Old Home Day and that kind of thing. The other three are not Charlton residents. When we had our last meeting, I mentioned it to the other band members, so it certainly is a possibility that that's something we could look at down the road. And one of the first things I did when I got on this board was discuss the possibility of what I thought of as a youth council at the time. With my background being in sports in town, I saw a lot of kids that weren't being served, that weren't in the sports programs, and was looking to something along those lines, and that kind of took on a life of its own, and you folks all grew it into what it is now. So it's I can't tell you how grateful I am and how happy I am for everything that you've been able to accomplish over there. It really is becoming a jewel in this town.
And the good news is that the person who ran the workshop has agreed to do the youth workshops next year.
Terrific.
So we're looking at that, and hopefully it can be a long-term commitment to having these summer youth workshops. In addition, Pasture Prime is planning on expanding to a season of 3 plays next year.
That's
so
great.
they can have more.
Terrific.
Christine?
Do you have any other questions, comments? It's a necessary evil, I'm sorry, it's a necessary evil.
My name's Christine Costello. It's a pleasure to be here, and it's a pleasure to be teaching in Charlton. I've known Don. He approached me in the spring, I think, because you were losing your music teacher. And I said, gee, this is something I could do. I had been a professional educator for 25 years. I had to retire for some health concerns, but, I love teaching. So this seemed to be a perfect match. I truly feel because of the working relationship between the town, the art center, and the schools, this is why this has been so successful. To be perfectly honest, I spent hundreds of dollars advertising myself to teach, and I didn't get one student in local papers and things like this. With one mailing, I had almost more than I could do this summer. So it's amazing. Right now, I had about 20 students this summer that did a summer program. I ran a summer special, a package, because I thought it was a good idea. Not everyone knows that their child is going to catch on to do this, to like anything. So it offered a great opportunity to get a taste of what this would be for the parents too, if they could listen to all that when it goes on in their home. Anyway, most of the students have continued, and currently I have 18 students in piano and voice, and I think that one of the reasons is because people feel comfortable having their children there. This isn't someone's home that they've never met. This is a homey atmosphere. It's a historic place. Everybody knows where it is. So there are real pluses. So I think Sandy and I talked a little bit about what about some other teachers? And I said, well, I know a lot of people. And the thing too is I want them to have a great situation like I'm having. Parents are coming in, they're happy, they're supportive, they really like what's happening. And so I got to work, and starting next week we will have a staff of 6 teachers. I myself went to Mount Holyoke College. I have my master's in music from UConn. We have Mr. Charlie Cook. Graduated from Berkeley. He's going to be doing the brass instruments. Laura Ramsey also graduated from Berkeley. She's going to be doing the woodwinds. Matthew Soper went to Hart Conservatory, and he's going to be doing guitar and bass. And we have a couple doing percussion because he does pitched percussion and she does the straight drums. And they're both from UMass Amherst, and we're part of the UMass marching band, and they also did drum and bugle and cadets, things like that. So together with Sandy, we found 6 different places in the complex so we could all teach at the same time. I'm finding that there is a certain time that everybody wants. It's like 4 o'clock to 8 o'clock is key. So I wanted to make sure that there was room, and there absolutely is. I really feel like this is going to be successful. I think it is because unlike a situation where there's a music store and they have a few teachers that teach upstairs or something like that, this is, again, a community-centered space. Also, I was careful to find people with music degrees, frankly, and everyone is also a professional performer. So I think that's important because it's not just you can talk about it, you've walked the walk also, and it's important. It's important because we're planning on having faculty recitals and things like that for the community, because I think it's important for students to see that. I'm going to be coordinating all the curriculum also. I've written curriculum for 3 different school districts in music, K through 12. So I'm just making sure that all the curriculum is going to be aligned with the Mass frameworks and the National Standards for Music Education. Every student will be absolutely literate in reading music, writing music, all those types of things. We're also interested in the spring to see if there's enough call for a composition course. We would need 5. One of our teachers also majored in composition. So if we could get 5 students to do this, we would be able to run a course and over 15 weeks. So that's a possibility, and also possibly a level of music theory, because school budgets are tough, and right now most schools don't have 2 levels of music theory so the students can take the AP music exam. So wouldn't it be great if we could get those kids some college credits and do it right here in the hometown?
You're hitting all my hot buttons.
Rick's shaking over there.
I am. I'm like
Well,
first of all, I have to say I'm glad that my alma mater is well represented in your teaching corps. And I'm not going to take time on this, but I was fortunate to grow up and go to high school in a community that had a very strong music theory program. It was a full credit course like English or all of that, and as a result of that, I placed out of virtually all of my first semester arranging and composition courses in college. So I absolutely appreciate the value in what you're trying to do with that.
Well, the thing is that your district's schools already have very good music programs.
Without question.
This is just to support it, and I think that that's one of the reasons I really feel will be successful, because we all know, one of the 6 of us knows the teachers. We've met them, we know them, and we're going to stay in communication with them, because this is supposed to work together. If a student is taking flute in Charlton, and she just is having a little bit of trouble with this, band piece, we're gonna help. In addition to the things that we're doing. So it's certainly not to compete with anything, it's just to support the great things that are already going on. For those students who just who move a little faster or extra, there aren't time for one-on-one lessons anymore with pullouts from classes. That doesn't happen anymore. And this should be a reasonably inexpensive, I think, with our fee schedule, is very good. I really, really feel like, I really think it's gonna be successful. So we're going under the name Central Mass Music Academy, but it will be, housed and very happy at the community center. And Sandy just asked me or I'm sorry, maybe it was Barbara, about looking at costs and generating future revenue. Well, right now, my lesson schedule is generating $99 per week for the town of Charlton. However, very modestly, with adding 5 teachers, even if they only have 10 students per week, which I really don't think that will be it. I think it'll be more, that's $250 per week, so $1,000 a month. I think more apt would be that they would average 15 students each, which would be $375 a week. So hopefully that would make everybody comfortable with however cold it is this winter, and keeping the place warm. And
Ms. Craver?
I don't gush much, but I can only tell you that I am smiling ear to ear, because I do remember when we had the conversation in April and May, that Sandy and I had the conversation and she thought this was it, that the bills weren't going to be able to be paid. From what I'm hearing about the music program and the players and the new guidance, I'm just amazed, excited. You've pulled it off. You've done a great feat, and your hard work is going to keep this building open, and thank you. It's just amazing what I'm hearing tonight from what I heard in May, what you've been able to accomplish. Thank you.
And to use a title of movie quote, you had me at composition. I couldn't agree with more with what Ms. Craver's saying. I mean, I don't think, I can't speak for the board as a whole, but at least from my own perspective, I never really looked at the Activities Council as being a profit center for the town. I mean, our hope was that it would be kind of, I think the goal was always for it to be self-sustaining, a self-sustaining entity. And the work that you folks have put into developing the property and rebuilding the physical structures there and the programs, and I don't think we can say enough good things about. So it's really, having these programs, I think, is ridiculously exciting. I'm a little jaded, but ridiculously exciting, and going to 3 plays a year and maybe musical and all. I think that I really see that as a kind of thing that's just going to feed on itself and take on a life of its own. So. Speaking for myself, I couldn't be happier and couldn't be more excited for you and couldn't wish you more success as you go forward.
thank you very much.
Absolutely.
Any other comments or questions from the board?
Thank you.
And thank you for taking an evening to come up here and update us on everything. I'm nervous. Okay.
I don't know what, Sandra Bacon, I'm the director of the center. I'm not sure what the procedure is, but we now have a 7-man board. We would like to drop back to a 5-person board. What's the procedure for, can we just ask that and have that done, or do we have to do it in writing?
Yeah, I think, and Ms. Craven, no, but I think we'll just take a vote of this board, because we originally established it with 7, so I think it would just take a vote of this board
Okay.
to change that to 5.
All right, our reason would be, obviously, we need a quorum in order to have meetings, and we're going to go to subcommittees, and we don't want too many people to wear too many hats, because then they'll get tired, so.
In fact, if anyone would like to make a motion, I think we could just deal with that now, couldn't we?
Through the chair.
Mr. McGrath?
I'll make a motion that we reduce the Board of Trustees at the community center.
Activities Council?
Activity Council from 7 to 5.
Thank you. Do we have a second?
Second.
Is there discussion on that? Mrs. Zafirovich?
Are there currently 7 active members? 7 members on the committee.
When Mrs. Butler resigned, that brought us down to 6. There is one more resignation coming in because of ill health and moving out of town. So we still have 5 people, we
Okay.
will have 5 people in place.
Okay.
Yep.
Perhaps you wanna wait until you get the resignation and then make the motion then? Otherwise, this person will be in limbo.
Yeah, how do we determine which one to, just a lot of logistics.
Because
with
your
that.
vote will become immediate. So once what we can do is once we have the resignation in hand, I
Or
can put it on for you to
did
change your
Sandy,
motion.
is that coming soon, do you know?
Yes,
So-
she hasn't been able to work for months.
So what if we put an amendment on that to be effective October 1st?
Fine.
Would that work?
Could
you
we,
amend-
Chair, I'll amend my motion to October 1st, 2014.
I'll amend my second.
Very good.
if we do that, that means we can't have a meeting? Oh, we could have meetings.
You
we
could still
just-
have a meeting.
As
You-
long
yeah.
as all 5 show up.
As long as you have, well, as long as you have 4. If
yeah,
it's a 7-member
Whatever.
board, so as long as you have 4, you could still do that and still conduct business.
Fine.
Okay?
Great.
So you have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion on the motion? None appearing. All those in favor? Opposed? Chair votes aye. Motion carries unanimously.
Okay.
Thank you all again, and good luck.
Thanks, Sandy.
And lastly, we have Dresser Hills Conservation and Management Permit. Todd Gerard.
Mr. Chair?
Ms. Graver, if you would, please.
Todd has asked to be placed on the agenda to discuss the Dresser Hills Conservation and Management Permit with the board and to seek approval.
Thank you. Mr. Gerard?
Good evening, I'm Todd Gerard, Conservation Agent, Town of Charlton. I'm here this evening with George Christini. He's representing, I'm sorry, I butchered his last name. He's representing Blair Enterprises this evening. We're gonna be discussing Dresser Hills. It's a 7-lot residential subdivision. It's off of A. Vinton Road. It's about 16.25 acres. This subdivision's been going on since 2007. They originally came in with 9 lots. They've reduced it to 7 to accommodate a better design. And in the meantime, they've been working with Division of Fish and Wildlife to finalize their Mass Endangered Species Act conservation and management permit on their open space. So they've come up with about an 11-acre parcel to be held in joint ownership with Worcester Greater Land Trust and State of Massachusetts, about 50-50, about 5.5 acres apiece. It's to keep open space for endangered salamanders. It's actually the marbled salamander. It's a state-listed threatened species. We've worked with Conservation and the Planning Board on this project with Blair Enterprises, and I believe that we're just at a great point to bring it to you, the selectmen, to have you accept it or ask any further questions before you accept this.
Do you have any questions from the board? My first question is, again, where is this located?
A. Vinton Road, that's off of King Road.
Okay.
King Road. There used to be a campground there, used to be a
Was it
campground.
the Sullivan's Campground?
Correct.
Yep,
Yeah,
okay,
so
that's
this would
exactly
be
what you mean,
the
yeah.
back of where I'll call it, the Phase 1 subdivision went in.
Okay.
And then this would be Phase 2 of that same
Okay.
expansion.
So if I understand this correctly, from a procedural standpoint, this is just a opportunity for us to ask questions and offer opinions as opposed to taking any action. Is there action that's required by this board?
It would also, George Carizzi, I represent Blair Enterprises. It would also request your acceptance of the grant. The property is, the open space is being held by the Greater Worcester Land Trust. And then there is a conservation restriction portion of land which will be imposed on a portion of each of the 7 lots. That conservation restriction restricts the use of the back portion of most of the lots in order to preserve the area for conservation purposes. That conservation restriction is held by the state. The town has enforcement rights relative to it as well. It's a matter that's being reviewed by by the Concom as well. It's approved by Division of Fisheries and Wildlife, the Executive Office of Environmental Affairs, and it has to be accepted or approved by the select board
Okay.
in the town where the conservation restriction is. And this conservation restriction has been approved by the Division of Fisheries and Wildlife. They've given us their approval.
Okay.
At that point, we come to you folks, and then we have to go to the Greater Worcester Land Trust for their execution. Then we go to Division of Fisheries and Wildlife, and they sign off, and then we go back to the Executive Office of Environmental Affairs for final approval. It then gets recorded, and actually at that point, it can be modified only by an act of the legislature.
I give you credit just for knowing that whole process.
It's a
Wow.
horrifying process.
Wow.
I believe when Cindy and I were on the planning board, there was only one of these before this. That, you know, we weren't really involved with it because Concom took care of it, but I only remember one of these before. And there was a previous contractor that Clee bought the property from when he ran into a financial issue, but Cindy and I sat on the board when there was going to be 14 house lots up there, or maybe even more. It was gonna be a very long cul-de-sac, if I remember correctly.
They've carved it way back, and they had it down to 9, but in review of the 9 lots, although they were all legal lots, honestly, they were ugly lots.
Tough.
Just to produce a better product. You know, the problem was that Blair had negotiated with Fisheries and Wildlife based on 9 lots, so we're paying $5,000 a lot. Because part of this is also to grant the Fisheries and Wildlife $45,000 for monies for them to study and preserve marble salamanders elsewhere. So now we're doing 7 lots, but we're still paying the 45.
And you can't get $5,000 a lot either.
I know it.
Imagine that.
I know it.
So,
Good, Ms. Craver.
is the vote to recommend, approval? You are listed as the permit holder, so when you said that the board was supposed to vote to accept the permit.
The grant, I think he said.
Yeah,
I wanna
if can
just get clarification.
There's a few, the process is actually a dual process that, and they run somewhat parallel. The first thing is the endangered species permit. That's granted by the state. So they give us permission to, the formal word is a take. If we do any work in a habitat of an endangered species, that's considered a taking or a take of the species. And they prohibit taking or interfering with an endangered species unless they give you a permit for that purpose. So they give us that permit. But then, as part of that permit, they said, we're going to let you build in that area, but in order to build in that area, we want you to restrict the back section closest to the habitat. That back section, or that restriction, is called a conservation restriction.
Right.
And that has to be approved by you folks. So although the state's given us the permit to do this, the restriction, because you folks have the power to enforce that as well. So you folks approve the restrictions, they approve the permit. I hope that's my understanding as to the.
Just a question, George. Is it have to go through the Board of Selectmen because it's a law that's gonna be enforced by the town?
The town will have.
Okay, and and Conservation Commission doesn't have the power to enforce the law on, you know, like a fine or something of that nature on this?
And
Okay.
this form is actually, the form is from the state. The state's drafted this, well, it's done in we fill in the relevant data, but it's generally their form. And it says that the select board at a meeting held voted to approve the conservation restriction. You're not approving the permit's given by Fisheries and Wildlife, but you approve the restriction of the land because you folks will have enforcement rights over that portion of the property.
And I noticed, Todd, that it's coming here before it's been approved or accepted by Concom?
We've already informally accepted it, and tomorrow night at our public hearing, we're gonna formally accept
Okay.
It's just a scheduling.
Okay, that's
We had
fine.
this on our 2-week-ago meeting, and we were canceled, so we're just kind of.
So you guys are all fine with this?
Yes, we are.
And I would just note that Concom doesn't formally approve it. I mean, they're on the distribution list, planning board also, Concom is, but the executive, officers are you folks.
Understood that, it's just that, this is being under their domain, we take, we put some weight into their position on it.
Through the chair, I was also speaking with Mr. Alan Gordon, who recommended that I come and sit before the selectmen this evening. He's behind this project, and planning board is also 100% behind this project.
It's,
Mr. Chair,
Ms.
Would-
Cooper?
would the restriction be put on prior to any building, any construction at all? And the transfer of the open space also be before any construction, or what's the timeline, the sequence, I guess, for that?
It would all be done, through the chair, it would all be done prior to construction, and, the legal, transfers, the restrictions are all done prior to construction. They would all be completed previous to that. This would be the, it is only with your approval and with the state's approval do we even have the ability to build a subdivision. And then, but that gets recorded first, and this gets recorded at the registry of deeds, and as I said, it can't even be changed without a formal vote of the legislature. It's not as though I can go back to the executive office and say, I need to change this, I need another exit, or something like that. You can't, you have to have, the legislature has to vote to, make a change. So, and in this case, this is a little different than a lot of I've only done, one or two other of these subdivisions. A lot of times, open space, subdivisions have these, and I've done them in Rutland on other sites. This one, we actually have split parcels where we have open space that's gonna be owned by the Greater Worcester Land Trust. And then we have all of the lots have a portion of them also dedicated to open space. But in order to maintain the minimum lot area requirements, the lots are the size that they have to be, but a good portion of those lots are restricted. And as part of these requirements, we're required to monument on the lots, thus far ye shall go and no further. We put the monuments that this is the limit of your unrestricted land, and everything beyond that point has state involvement, town involvement, Concom involvement, and deed restrictions on it as well. So, and that'll all be done prior to the first solo.
Mr. McGrath?
I make a motion that we accept the conservation restriction as proposed by Mr. Kirsty of Blair Enterprises and by the Charlton Conservation Commission. And that would be for the 7-lot residential subdivision called Dresser Hills, and I believe it's off A. Vinton Road, correct?
Thank you, yes.
We have a motion, is there a second?
Second?
We have a motion and a second, is there discussion on the motion? None appearing, then all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Chair votes aye, motion carries unanimously.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I have
Thank
the
you.
form, the original, and I do have a hard copy of the select board would like a copy.
If we keep a copy for the records,
I
if
know
we
we
could,
probably
please.
have it in the town, but I'll have
Yeah,
it.
if we could have one for our records.
Thanks,
And
George.
then would you, want to execute that and then give it to Concom, because they're reviewing it tomorrow, or do you want me to?
We
take
could
that?
pass it around and do it right now if you'd like. Let's start with Mr. McGrath.
Thank you.
All I can think about is the salamanders that I fish out of my pool in the spring.
All you can think of is the $5 grand lot.
Well, that's it.
Imagine being able to do that.
I know.
I have
can't
one
imagine.
in Rutland where we had 3 toed salamanders that put a project on hold for nearly 7 years. And at the end of the redesign and the new approvals, we delisted the salamanders. It's no longer a danger.
Crazy.
Was Was that when Senior owned the business,
That
or?
was a very, yeah, that was a very long and contentious battle. And once we paid the money for them to figure out, we wanted to do a study on salamanders, they discovered that it wasn't that endangered.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank you.
folks.
Thank you.
Good night.
Thanks, Todd. Thanks, George.
I'll notarize that if I may. Is this a free acting deed?
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right, thanks, good night. And we are just a minute or two early, but Chief, is everyone here? You guys are set? You waiting on anyone else? We do have a 7:30 appointment. To request to work a secondary job. Ms. Craver?
Yes, sir. Attached is a request from Captain Ralph Harris Jr. seeking approval to work a secondary job as an instructor while on injured on duty leave. He has been teaching this class at Quinsigamond Community College for about 4 years and would like to continue. According to the fire contract, personnel must obtain permission from the chief and the Board of Selectmen to work a secondary job. I would recommend the board approve this request.
Thank you. Chief?
I also recommend that you approve the request as well, being that Captain Harris has been working for this organization for quite some time and doing the teaching there as well. So I do recommend the application be approved by the board.
And just to give the board some background on this, when Mr. Singer and I were on the team that worked on negotiating the fire contract, a concern or a topic that was discussed was if a firefighter went on IOD and all of a sudden they were working a construction job or that kind of thing. So we just wanted to have a system of checks and balances in place. And the fire union was very accommodating in that they completely understood what we were looking to do, and they honestly agreed with that
Yeah.
type of approach. So that's how this came about, and so just for a little background.
Okay. Through the chair,
Mr. McGrath?
I make a motion that we approve Captain Harris's request is for a secondary job as an instructor at the Quinsigamond Community College.
We have a motion, do we have a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second, is there discussion on the motion? Mrs. Zafirovich?
Through the chair, is Captain Harris, are you currently on light duty? Or you IOD? What's the difference between teaching and IOD, and light duty?
Currently, the department does not have a light duty
Oh,
clause,
okay.
so consequently it doesn't fit into the contract.
Okay.
But that is a great segue, and I would probably like to say something about that after you take your vote.
Do you have any other discussion on the motion? None appearing, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Chair votes aye, motion carries.
Thank you.
Ms. Craver?
Yes, sir. In an effort to assist our firefighters, whether they've been injured on duty as an accident at work or being at home and having an accident, we have initiated conversation with the union about incorporating a light duty. And I gave something in writing about sitting with the union today. And if we can come up with something, what we'd like to do is to bring that for your consideration.
Yeah, I think it's a great idea.
Yeah.
You on board with it, Chuck?
I think I think it's very, very beneficial for both parties. If someone is injured when they're not at work and they could be out for an extended period of time, we don't have the means right now to bring that person back to allow them to actually do some work that they are capable of doing. So we are working with the union right now to try to come up with some common ground language that would allow that, and also conversely in an IOD setting as well. So I think it'd be very beneficial for both parties in the department and in the town itself, and for the union as well.
Excellent.
Excellent.
Great. Thank you, Chief.
Thank you.
Thank you.
May I interrupt for a second? Robin, can you give this to Mayor Conway? Thank you very much.
And Bud, hopefully we'll be seeing you back on regular duty soon. I'm sure, I'm sure. Good night.
Thank you.
Okay, we'll move on to new business. Our first item under new business is the Town of Charlton Cafeteria Plan. Ms. Graver?
Yes, sir. Please find attached a memo from the town treasurer Arsenault regarding the sewer rate relief fund. He states that each year, the state legislature appropriates funding to assist communities with sewer debt service, with the expectation sewer rates do not increase for rate payers. A description of the program is
Nope.
attached.
We're on two different items.
Which one are you on?
Page
I'm on
45.
the cafeteria plan.
Oh, I'm sorry. I jumped ahead. Would you like to go back to the cafeteria plan?
May we go to the cafeteria plan, please?
Yes.
Ms. Graver?
Take two. Attached is an updated plan document that is permitted under federal law known as Section 125 Cafeteria Plan. We maintain a simple cafeteria plan that allows employees to pay their share of the health insurance premiums as well as various 100% voluntary benefit premiums with pre-tax dollars. Please present this to the board for approval. Now I am reading Keith's thing. Go back further. So we have a cafeteria plan which is attached by Town Treasurer Arsenault, which would ask the board to review. He states that we currently have the Section 125 plan dated 2007, which is a generic document downloaded from the state website. He's not been able to find the original document, if any, when the town began treating health insurance withholdings as pre-taxed. In an effort to ensure proper documentation exists that has been updated to comply with changes of the many of the state and federal laws such as ERSI, USERRA, and COBRA. He is asking the board to approve the attached plan, which is tailored for the town of Charlton. I would recommend the board approve the cafeteria plan documents as submitted, and I have reviewed them and recommend their approval.
Mr. Chair,
Mrs. Zafirovich?
I move that we approve the cafeteria plan documents as submitted.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Motion and a second. Any discussion?
At first, I thought I was talking about the space downstairs.
Yeah.
I was confused. I was like, why is the
So I'm
treasurer
still
getting
not
involved?
sure that we're not, but we'll go. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Chair votes aye, motion carries.
Good.
Now on to the Charlton Cafeteria Plan, Ms. Graver? Or the store rate relief fund?
Confusing.
See, it didn't help a whole lot putting those numbers afterwards.
Aye.
Okay, please find another attached memo from Town Treasurer Arsenault regarding the sewer rate relief fund. He states that each year the state legislature appropriates funding to assist communities with sewer debt service with the expectation that sewer rates do not increase. A description of the program is attached. Last year, we received $595. The prior year, the governor vetoed the line item appropriation to help balance the state budget. In prior years, we've received some funding. FY12, we only received $74, but as recent as FY 2008, we received $12,592. Attached is the FY 2015 sewer rate relief application. We would ask that you sign the certification so he can submit it.
And I believe that's in our sign folder.
Yes, sir.
And I don't think we really need to take action on that, do we, other than just to sign, or do you need an approval?
Approval to authorize the chairman to sign?
Mr. Chair,
Mrs. Zafirovich?
move that we authorize the chairman to sign the sewer relief application.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Is there discussion on the motion? None appearing. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Chair votes aye, motion carries unanimously. And next up, we have the CMMPO request for selectman representative. Ms. Craver.
Yes, sir. The Central Mass Metropolitan Planning Organization is responsible for prioritizing federal funds that are spent on roads and bridges in the city of Worcester and the surrounding 39 communities. In 2003, this organization was expanded to include locally elected officials as voting members, in addition to the representatives from Mass DOT Planning and Highway Divisions, the Central Mass Regional Planning Commission, and the Worcester Regional Transit Authority. 5 selectmen are now represent their respective subregions on the CMMPO, and the city manager represents the city of Worcester. The CMMPO is asking the board to send a selectman to the informational and member selection meeting at the Jacob Edwards Library in Southbridge on Thursday, September 25th at 6:30. This letter is also being sent to other selectmen in our sub-region. The selectmen that attend this meeting will be asked to choose one selectman from among the group to represent our sub-regions, communities on the organization. The staff will provide an overview of the roles and responsibilities for the members and will answer any questions. It is very important for all communities to take an active role in deciding how federal transportation funding for roadways, bridges, and other transportation-related projects is allocated in this region. This request is also sent to the board every 3 years when the members' terms expire. Peter Boyer was our representative back in 2011. What is the board's wishes?
To the chair.
Mr. McGrath?
I have to not participate in being selected for this due to the fact that I'm an employee of the Mass DOT.
Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to volunteer.
Then I would entertain a motion to...
Mr. Chair,
Mr. Zafirovich?
I nominate Ms. Cooper to be the representative to the CMMPO.
And I will second that nomination. Is there any discussion? None appearing. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Abstained?
Abstain.
Opposed? Thank you for stepping up and volunteering, Ms. Cooper. We look forward to hearing back from your, what you find out.
Hope we make the cut.
I'm sure with Cindy's background.
Yeah, I think that's pretty safe.
Begging her.
Next up, it's that time of year. We have to set our trick-or-treat date and times, Ms. Craver.
Yes, it is that time of year when the board is asked to set the date and time for trick-or-treating. Chief Purview recommends that we celebrate trick-or-treating in the town of Charlton on Friday, October 31st, from 5:30 to 7:30. I would recommend the board approve that date and time.
I would entertain a motion to such.
Mr. Chair,
Mr. Zafirovich?
I move that we set the date and time for trick-or-treating to be October 31st, 2014, from 5:30 PM to 7:30 PM.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Is there discussion?
It's weird setting that. It just...
Yeah, I know, but it's what it is. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Chair votes aye, motion carries unanimously. Yeah, when I was a kid, I don't know really set time, you just, when
You
it
just
got
went.
dusk, you just went out.
Yeah, exactly.
Filled the bag, and
Mob
went out
scene.
again. And next up, our last item under new business is our setting of the fall special town meeting calendar and opening of the warrant. Ms. Craver.
Yes, sir. Special town meeting has come upon us. Attached is a proposed calendar which has you opening the warrant tonight and the meeting to be held on Tuesday, October 21st. We have confirmed the date is available with the school, town council, the moderator, and town clerk. Tonight, if you have no revisions, we ask you to approve the special town meeting calendar and open the warrant. I had a department head meeting August 14th, which was 2 weeks ago, where I asked them to begin the process with their boards and committees. To date, I anticipate that there will be personnel bylaw proposals, zoning bylaw changes, and capital requests. We have received one petition for a zoning change already. I will have a preliminary list for you at your next meeting. As usual, if departments want a warrant article and do not have the exact wording, I will encourage them to request a placeholder so that an appropriate language can be developed.
Thank you.
Mr. Chair,
Mrs. Zafirovich?
I move that we open the warrant and approve the special town meeting calendar as presented to us.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Is there discussion on the motion?
It's also that time of year again, too.
Yes, it is. Funny how it sneaks up in you. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Chair votes aye, motion carries unanimously.
Thank you.
And I'm sorry, I was checking the dates on that. You also, part of that motion was to open the warrant?
Yes.
Yep,
That
thank
was
you.
the first part.
And under old business, we have one item, which is discussion of our goals and objectives. Ms. Craver.
Yes, sir. At your Goals and Objectives workshop held August 12th, you came up with 18 goals and objectives. Before you begin to review and approve the Selectmen's FY15 goals, I'd like to take a moment to review the Board of Selectmen's priorities and accomplishments from last year. Drew?
This is where the PowerPoint comes in.
This is the PowerPoint.
Nice.
So, I think you can see from up there. The Town of Charlton Board of Selectmen FY14 goals and accomplishments. The Board of Selectmen selected several goals in FY14 to have completed. Here are some of the achievements from that list. The Board of Selectmen FY14 goals were put on the web and given to committees so that residents and officials could know their priorities. You also have this PowerPoint in your folder if you would like to bring that up. You'd have to go out of the packet and into the folder. The board was committed to creating more opportunities for residents to view public meetings. New boards and committees meetings were taped and played on cable, including the planning board, assessors, and the Board of Health. The public has stated that they appreciate this access. The town also added a cable manager to create shows, including Who's Who and theme shows such as How to Buy a House with Instruction by a Local Realtor. The selectmen wanted to explore regional opportunities. We are still researching the possibility of entering into a regional dispatch with the towns of Webster and Dudley and are presently waiting for a report on cost and structure. There is also discussion now starting with towns to the northwest of Charlton. After hiring a full-time veterans agent, which left for another position after 6 months, we worked with the town of Webster and Dudley's agent. Talks have begun with 3 other towns who are interested in forming a veterans district. Charlton partnered with 13 towns to produce its 3rd grant for stormwater management and saved approximately $200,000. The selectmen, in an effort to beautify and make the town common safe, removed 2 blue spruces that were becoming dangerous. We have ordered 2 new ones to be planted in the spring. Open communication was a major goal for the board, and to that end, you continued the all boards and committees meeting. This meeting has fostered a greater understanding of boards and departments' work and needs throughout the year. These meetings help create the bridge and for greater community involvement and promote open government. The public are always invited and encouraged to attend and participate as well. This year, the department heads were invited to participate, making it an all boards, committees, commissions, and departments meetings. The Board of Selectmen tasked the staff to hold at least 1 training for staff development. We've received a grant for 1 representative from each of the buildings to attend an ALICE training, which is Alert, Lockdown, Inform, Counter, and Evacuate. Train the trainer for 2 days. The group is in process of putting together a training for Town Hall. The library has trained already and has been completed. The Board of Selectmen have as a goal ADA improvements, which included the addition of an elevator in Town Hall for several years. To that end, we submitted 4 applications in the CDBG grant rounds. This year, Charlton and Leicester joined forces and was awarded the grant. We are in the process of executing the grant contract and have contacted the architect to update the plans. We anticipate construction will begin in spring of 2006, which is still in FY15. I said 2006? Let's try 2016.
We knew that.
The board has worked diligently with the town administrator and finance committee to fund needed services through good budgeting practices. To that end, the board assisted a group of citizens that wished to get an override approved. Although the override didn't pass, the community had an enlightening conversation and education as to budget limitations, the school district budget, and state mandates. The board agreed that the Board of Selectmen policies needed to be reviewed and updated. To that end, the board tasked each member with a number of policies to review and make recommendations. 20 policies were reviewed out of the 58, and the board will continue reviewing into FY15 until complete. The Board of Selectmen championed Prindle Pond residents to not lose the lake due to new imposed state regulations and an owner who needed help in maintaining the dam. The Selectmen proposed new legislation that helped residents who would benefit from the Prindle Lake Dam reconstruction to pay for the cost in a fair and equitable way. Town meeting agreed, and once funding was authorized, staff procured a designer and bid out the construction of the Prindle Lake Dam renovation. Construction has been completed and betterments have been assessed. The project is ready to close out. The project was overseen by the Prindle Lake Dam Building Committee, a selectmen subcommittee. The selectmen maintained its contract with Casella for unlimited recycling and no-fee trash drop-off at the Casella site in Southbridge. This year, it became up and running and available for residents. Casella continues to offer Charlton residents quarterly hazard waste days at no cost to the town. In an effort to go paperless, the town partnered with Casella, who donated 10 iPads. The Board of Selectmen and Finance Committee went paperless this year. These are some of the accomplishments of the Board of Selectmen acting through Charlton staff and departments. I look forward to working with you on your new goals for FY15.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And,
Actually, it's nice to have that summarized like that, sit back.
there you go.
Thank you.
I know, you have to look sideways, so
Yeah.
here's, printed that out. So, now I have attached the FY15 goal, list of goals for your review and included 3 additional columns for timelines. Person who will spearhead the project if available, if applicable, and what the next steps are. You also have included your last year's goals sheet.
What I would ask the members of the board to do, if there's no objections, is to take this home as a worksheet and prioritize these. Let's read them over, digest them, and prioritize, and bring it back at our next meeting, and we can narrow that down and set our real targeted goals and objectives for the coming year.
Okay.
Okay? Does that work for everybody?
Sure.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Anything else on that, Ms. Craver, or are we set there?
No, we're all set, thank you.
for putting that together.
You're welcome.
Nice job.
And on the BOS policy review, revised list acceptance with policy, Ms. Craver?
Yes, sir, attached is a list of the board's policies that have been completed and the ones that need to be reviewed. I've also assigned each member's name to it. Attached is that list. We did it randomly. I would ask the board if you have no objections to approve the list as submitted. Once approved, each member can submit one for each meeting with their recommendation for change or to keep it as is. And that process seemed to work well last year.
Mr. Chair,
Mr. Zafirovich?
I move that we accept the list for the BOS policies as laid out in our packet.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion on the motion?
Just to let the selectmen know that the bylaws, the policies are available on the web. We also can make you a package of the policies just for you if you'd like. So just let us know how we can assist you in your review.
Okay.
I also recommend that if you're reviewing something that has to do with the department, that you may want to talk to me if you have some questions, or we can have you have a conversation with the department itself.
We do have a motion, thank you. We do have a motion and second on the floor. Is there any further discussion? None appearing, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Chair votes aye, motion carries unanimously. Thank you. Thank you for putting that list together. Next, we have the town administrator's report.
Okay, Charter Communications, we have been notified by Charter that they are making some exciting changes for customers in Charlton. They are going all digital and are adding more than 80 new high-definition channels to the lineup. The public access channels will be changing as well. On or before September 30th, Channel 11, our public access, will be a new digital channel on 191. Channel 12, our government access channel, will be at channel 192, and channel 13, our educational access channel, will be a new digit channel of 194. Please make a note of this.
May I interrupt you for 1 second?
Certainly.
Drew, this is actually a question for you, if I may. Sure. I was approached at Old Home Day by a few people that said channels 11 and 12 had been black. Did you know of that?
Now, it's fine here.
Okay.
One of my digital boxes is home, black.
Yeah.
I thought it was me.
No.
It's not, huh?
No, it's
No, I was
Chatter.
approached by a couple of people at Old Home Day that asked about
On
it.
Thursday night, Chatter had a system-wide failure in Worcester, almost all of Worcester County.
Oh,
And I
from
think
the-
it was.
from the weather?
I think it wasn't the weather. They had,
Oh, okay.
they had a software issue. They themselves spiked their own boxes. Some people lost channels, some people lost volume control. I lost volume control. You had no volume. I thought the TV was gone. So what you have to do is you have to, serious, you have to call Chatter. What happened is when it spiked, it reset to the default in the box, which shuts the sound off. So, and they have a public service message when you call them up that says this is the issue.
You have no idea what I've gone through at my house because I have no sound out of my television. For 2 days, I've got wires piled
It's
up.
been since Thursday, so it
I
is
got home
not,
Friday, and my wife said, we have no sound on the television.
and you went right past
I
go.
went- I was,
Join the club.
so I'm sorry, so solutions that is to call charter?
Call Charter, they'll walk you through it. The things you learn here.
Thank you. I won't even get it.
Serving the people of Charlton.
Serving the people of Charlton. Thank you, Ms. Craig, I'm sorry.
Thank you for
Drew.
sharing that.
No problem.
Are we done with charter?
And as
Yes,
my
but
wife
I'm
would
just-
say, the least technically savvy person probably sitting in this room has just
Well,
enlightened you.
and that's what was killing me, is I do professional sound systems for a living, and I can't make my foolish television make noise. I was, never mind.
Drew, is there a way that we could get a ticker going across the bottom that just says if you are experiencing sound
That would be a great
problems,
idea.
to please call charter and put their phone number there?
I can run it on Channel 12 during the program and everything, so.
That'd be perfect, thank you. Okay. Proposition 2.5 questions. Town Clerk Darlene Tully has confirmed that the state has approved Charlton's Proposition 2.5 questions for the November 4th state election ballot. Worksite Wellness Mini Grant, I'm happy to announce that we have applied and received a $750 Worksite Wellness Mini Grant from the Hampshire Council of Governments, our insurance carrier. We have formed a workshop wellness team who is developing programs that the money can be used for to help keep our employees healthy. The team members are Cheryl Hansen, Kara, Mary, and myself. And actually, we're doing some great programs. We've got a quiz going now with it goes 8 times this year, and there'll be prizes. So employees tend to like that, and they take a look and read the board and enlighten themselves, educate themselves. Worksite Wellness is going to be very successful. Fire and burglar alarms. We have contracted with Alarm Works for the fire and burglar alarm company. Employees' passwords remain the same. New cards were distributed with this company's name and contact phone number if needed. And we're still working out some of the bugs. WRTA Route 29 ridership in Charlton. We have received an update on the WRTA Route 29 ridership in Charlton program. The ridership program has been growing steadily since FY14. In July-August 2013, there were 53 inbound passenger trips to the Auburn Mall, 35 outbound passenger from the Auburn Mall. Ridership continues to increase steadily between August 2013 and January 2014. Beginning January 27, 2014, Route 29 start and end point was extended from the Auburn Mall to provide direct service for all runs to the WRTA's hub at Union Stations in Worcester. With this routing change, the ridership increased even more to 26 inbound passenger trips and 167 outbound passenger trips. I've also asked if they could place bus stop signs in Charlton, and they are looking into this and will let me know. But I've also heard that it's been a positive for economic development that we actually have people using the bus to come and work in Charlton.
And do you know, has WRTA set any type of a bar? Is there a minimum number of rides that they're looking at to consider the program as successful or viable?
Nothing that they've communicated to us.
This extended out of the big fiasco with the MBTA needing more money. And so they had to come up with something so that all the legislators that didn't have anything to do with the MBTA would actually vote to help them out. And this was one of the good things that happened.
And to that end, not only is ridership going up, but our assessment has also gone up.
Well, I'm sure. Very good, thank you. Do you have any other questions for the town administrator? Thank you, Ms. Craven, I apologize for the interruption at the early part of your
Not a
report.
problem.
Do you have any other business to come before the board? Then the board will be entering into executive session, and we will exit executive session solely for the purpose of adjournment. The next regular selectmen's meeting will be on September 16th, and we will be having an all boards, committees, commissions, and department meetings on September 23rd at 6:30 p.m. at the Senior Center. Thank you all for watching at home, and thanks to all those who came out for Old Home Day, and have a good evening.
Mr. Chair?
Thank you. Mrs. Zafirovich?
I move that we enter executive session under Mass General Law, Chapter 38, Section 21, for reason number 3, to discuss strategy with respect to collective bargaining or litigation if an open meeting may have a detrimental effect on the bargaining or litigation position of the public body. And number 6, to consider the purchase, exchange, lease, or value of real estate if the chair declares that an open meeting may have a detrimental effect on the negotiation position of the public body.
Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. We'll go by roll call vote. Mrs. Zafirovich?
Aye.
Ms. Cooper?
Aye.
Mr. McGrath?
Aye.
Chair votes aye, and the chair declares that an open meeting would have a detrimental effect on the negotiating position of the public body. Again, we are in executive session. We will exit solely for the purpose of adjournment. Thank you all and good night.